Okay, so we're going to put both these recordings up on the channel shortly. As soon as I finish by about midday, 12:30, they should be up. One. Now, queries. We want to focus on queries right now. That's the main part of what we're doing. Reports are easy. I mean, I hate teaching the easy parts because, like, what will you teach about it? But anyway, queries. As the name suggests, you're querying something. A query really is to get information from a database. Usually you have like a lot of data or several bits of data, and you want to select some of it. That is what a query is about. Now, as I said before, and I've said it more than once, a database is easy to use. It's just that it is a strict program, so you have to pay attention to details. Yeah? I want to say easy, I mean not much math where you're calculating and knowing order of operations and figuring out the math sequence and coding. No, it's simple. All you need to do is to remember the sequence of steps, the clicking, where to go, so forth, right? So let's go at this, yeah? So what a query is really just questions and requesting information from a database. However, we have a little challenge. We have three tables here. Three tables: participants, voter data, voters. And when we open these tables, here's what happened. The computer has no way of knowing who's who, Remember now. The computer looks here and see, okay, AB003 and Brown and so forth. Goes over here, see AB003 again and so forth. But the computer has no way of knowing exactly who is who across each database table. So the first thing we have to do is to actually build what is called a relationship. We must create a relationship between both or all three tables, right? So let's get into that. How do we do that? The first thing you have to do is make sure you close all three tables. Remember, you have to close the tables. If you try to build the relationship and so on, and a table is open, it will let me simulate that error for you. Let me give that error because some of you might have that problem. All right, and I hope you can pay attention to details because that's what's going to happen here. So to create a relationship, first place we go is database tools. Click on that, and it's the big old relationships thing right here, so in the middle. No matter the version that you use, 07, 2010, 12, 14, 16, I'm not sure about 365. I don't use 365 that much. This is where the relationship option feature normally is, right? All right, so I'm on these tiles here. So let us click the relationships, and then we're going to double click. We can double click a table, so participant come up, or we can go to the next one and click add. You can do it that way as well, or I can double click again. Which double clicking or clicking add, and if you double click and add more, eventually we have to remove them because you're adding a table more than once. Yeah. So then after you finish, you can click on the X here, or I click close. But then you have to remove the tables that you added. Where are the duplicates? Because if voter ID _1, voters _1, it means that those tables were already added. See, voter data is here and voters are here. So you can just right click on the name and select hide table. Right click on the name up here as well. Right click and select hide table. So if you do that, that's where you get rid of the tables that you added, the duplicates that you added. All right, now let's get to work. Okay, so what we want to do is to use the IDs to create the relationships. It's very important that you do it this way. And why I showed you to copy and paste is that you want to have the IDs for the persons who are there. You don't want to have an ID for someone who's not in the database or in one table but not in another table, right? Because that will provide some complications. All right, let's do this, right? So how to do this now is, since you guys play solitaire, I'm guessing, I see some of you playing solitaire in the class. What you do when I'm teaching, you have mem ID over here. You can drag mem ID, hold and drag over to ID over this side, and then this window comes up. It says table or query, related table or query, right? So here's what happened now. We have mem ID as a table here and mem ID as another table. And you're using the field mem ID and so forth, right? So the option I'd normally ask you to make sure you choose is enforce referential integrity. You should do that. That is making sure that all the ID numbers in one table also exist in another table, right? Then you click create, right? Notice it says, the database engine could not lock table or participants because it is already in use by another person or process, right? So now let's go back and close there. So I was telling you, you close this. So all that we do in vain, let's close them now, right? So close this. And the participants, let's close it as well. That's what the company was telling us. It is in use. That's why I said you should close it, right? So we drag mem ID over here to mem ID to ID over here now. And I click enforce referential integrity and click create. Voila, it is done. Because now the tables are closed. So now the relationship can be created properly. All right. Now let me do this. Let me move this one over here. So, and then move this one over here. All right. So go and create the ID again and pay attention. I have ID here and I bring the ID over here. All right. And I click enforce referential integrity again and click create. And then now you have this. We have one, too many. I did this wrong and I didn't know how to do it this way. Voter ID. I don't want to do it this way. I'm going to delete this one. Tap on this and press delete on my keyboard. Yes, I'm going to delete it. I didn't want it done that way. I had it right the first time. Put it over here. So I want to show you the different kinds of relationships. So drag mem ID over here to ID and then click create. Bullseye. Oh, never enforce referential integrity. Let me do this again. Enforce referential integrity and then click OK. All right, good. This is what I wanted. Yeah, perfect. So in a database, you have different types of relationships in a relational database. You have one-to-one, you have one-to-many, and you have many-to-many. All right. So if I were you guys, I would move away from my parents now because I'm going to give you an explanation that I tend to find students remember the most. Yeah, telling you straight as it is no work. So give you one that you remember. One-to-one. See one up here, so, and one down here, so, right? One-to-one. In a one-to-one relationship, consider it like a marriage. One woman to one man. And they never ever cheat. She never cheats, he doesn't cheat. Fair enough? That's a one-to-one. So the one here, so, and so the one down here, so. However, that is from participants to voters. However, what we have here from voters to voter data is a situation where you have one-to-many. This person is faithful, but this person are up and down. Right? Because why? Remember when we have the ID numbers that repeated over here? Exactly. So for every one ID, so some of the ID numbers that exist once over here, some of them exist more than one time over here. So that's what it means. So you have a situation wherein one partner is being faithful in the marriage, the other one are up and down. You have some with the infinity sign here, that's also down here. So you have one-to-one, you have one-to-many, and you have many-to-many. That means both the man and the woman, them two of them are cheat. So that is three ways you find marriages nowadays. Faithful partners, perfect. That's the way it should be. One-to-one. Exhibited here. One-to-one relationship, yes. Database relationship between tables. You have one-to-many, i.e., one person is faithful, the other one had run up and down. Multiple persons. All right. Then now you also have many-to-many. That one I couldn't really show you right away, but you cannot get the gist of it now, right? Many-to-many, wherein both partners are cheating. Right? He has many women and she has many men. Basically, that's what it means, many to many, right? So the three kinds of database relationships that exist, get the notes for this now. All right, so you can have that as well. Three relational database relationships. All right, cool. Now let's get going with this thing now. You have 1 to 1. Where each primary key, primary key is used and linked to just one other in the other database. When I say DB, it means a database, right? DB table. All right, that's one. Let me add this person in. All right. Where on gone? Okay, the left. Cool. All right. So this is what happens. Let me see what's going on here. Okay. Cool. All right. So 1 to 1 is where you have every entrant, every primary key in one table is only entered once in the other table as well. Then you have 1 to many. All right. Where each primary key, or where one or more primary keys are linked, are used multiple times in another table. How about DB table again? All right. And you have many to many, where the primary keys used to link both tables are repeated. No, I should not use the word primary key. I should just use fields, because if a primary key can't use more than once. Fields, where the fields are used to link both tables, where the, what should I say now? Where the data in each, where the data in the fields are used to link that in the fields that are used, with the data in the fields that are used to create the relationship are repeated. Let's see, this sounds weird. Repeated in both tables. That sounds weird. This is the sentence. Let me restructure the sentence properly. Where the data in the fields that are used to create the relationship are repeated in both tables. The wording of that sounds weird. Where the data in the fields that are used, the data, the fields that are used to create the relationship are repeated in both tables. Primary key, where one or more primary keys, where one or more data points in the field are used multiple times in another table. Okay, where one or more data points in the field are used multiple times in another table. All right, one to one where each field the D key give me a problem. The D key on my keyboard. Where each field used to create the relationship is entered just once in the corresponding database table. All right, cool. Where each field is used to create the relationship is entered. All right, you know, the wording are the same word. But then we can find some better wording speed online. So we can, I'm not comfortable with the word choice I'm using today. My brain must have gone upon break. All right. Let me see if I can find this up. Database relationship types with examples. Ah. Let me see if I can find this. Right. Java. Some others think that maybe the example I was giving you guys are going to be better than what you might find online. Let me see if I can find this. SQL, I don't want a SQL. Don't want a structured query language. What I'm going to do, guys, I want to find this and I want to send it to you guys sometime during the day. Because I don't want to waste my time looking for this right now, right? Let me see. Relation database type different. Produce one-to-one. Nope. I don't want the symbols. Here's something that looks interesting. No, I'm going to select other end. I'm going to find this answer a little later. Can I camera with this? It'll take too long. All right. But anyway, going back to this, yeah? This is what we're talking about. All right. Let me make sure you understand because it's very, very important. You have one-to-one, each entry, each database entry, the ID number is used one time over here and is used once over here, right? So each ID number, we have 9 of them here. You have 9 of them. Each is used just once. That's the one-to-one relationship. One-to-one. In the one-to-many, right? You have each, the voters used once in the voter data. You find they have 13. The ID numbers are repeated. CD001, CD001, KM002, KM002. So you find is that some of the ID numbers are replicated in the other table. That's what we're saying, one-to-many. Many-to-many is the same thing. You have more than one of the entries here in the field replicated the same way in the other table. That's many-to-many, right? That's a general idea, right? But anyway, let's move on because it's necessary, guys. If you don't do your relationships, you cannot do the queries properly. It won't work. You have to create your relationships and create them properly. Anyway, let's move on. So we save this. Oops. Save this. Yes. and bring back my icons here. Thank you very much. So to create a query now, create query design. So queries and tables are best used by design view. And now we get into the real work of why we are here. I'm going to add all of these tables, add and click close, right? I'll just highlight them and click close. So let me just do something else here as well. I should have escaped that. All right. No, hold on. Sure, what am I doing? I want to use all of this so everybody can see it clearly. Put it also in the WhatsApp group. Where is it? Sure. Admit all. Admit all. Cool. Put this back here. So Control V. All right. Okay, I'm going to expand this image out now to explain to you what's going on here. All right, so hopefully everybody can see this image. So here's our design view for our query. Up here, we have the tables that we're using to run the query. Participants, voter data, voters. Down here, so up here is where we have the tables to select which fields we want to use in our query. Remember, a query is really when you're requesting data from a database. Sometimes databases are huge and you want to pull just certain data, not everybody. Down here now we see the field name. So the field name as in mem ID, transport, number of persons, DO, e-citizen, or ID or status or mugshot or ID, field name, last name. So all of those are fields. The tables in the second row will show you which table that particular field is coming from, right? The table here in the second row will tell you which field, and you only have 3 tables. Will tell you which field the table is coming from. Sort has to do with regular sorting. If you get a list where you want ascending or descending order, show has some boxes here, like the yes or no checkbox item. Where do you want this field to show up or not? You can still use it in the query. You can still use it in the query, but you might not want it to show up, or you might want that field to show up. A tick in the box means yes, you want the field to show up. No tick means you don't want that field to show up. The area that we mainly use with the queries as well is criteria as well as OR. Say, for example, you have a list of persons in the class, the status of, or let's say, officer position, for example. You select those who are prefect, those who are girls, those who are above a certain age, those who are males. You can select based upon particular conditions. That's what you normally do in the criteria row as well as the OR row. This is where the real work of queries really take place, in the criteria as well as in the OR row. So let us get to work on that, because I know you guys might not have an easy time seeing what I'm doing, and that's why I zoomed kind of in so you can see, basically. So hopefully we can get some work done. All right, cool. Now let's get to work. I'll put this over here so because it looks funny being there. Lengthen this out so we can see all the fields and so forth. All right. What if we want a list of all the persons in our database and their age, right? All I need to do is double click first name, double click last name, and their age. That's all I do. When I double click those, you see the name come down, the field name, first name, last name, age. And this is coming from the voters table, all 3 of them come from the voters table. And they can run the query. When I run the query now, we get everybody and them age. Simple, easy as cheese. Right? If you start to get a lot of data and they're repeating, like you find that instead of getting 9, you're getting like 100 or something, or 60 or 50 or 30 odd, way more than what you should have, and it's repeating, it means your relationships weren't properly created. All right? So let's go to the criteria row now. Not the criteria row, sorry. Let's go to sorting. What if we want a list of persons and their ages And we want to sort it in descending order, as in oldest to youngest. Descending order from the highest number to the lowest number. All right. So we click in the sort row here and then add click descending. And then I run the query again. And then the oldest person is 63, going down to the youngest at 18. That's all there is. All right. Let's continue again. I hope you're following. All right. Let me just close this query and go to create another one from scratch. Close this query now. Do you want to save it? All right. I'll save it. Yes. Save it as voter experiment. All right. Going to create another query now. Again, create query in the design view. I can, let me see now. I want voter data as well as I want voters. I only want those two and click close. So I don't have to select all three tables all the time. I just want the two tables, right? So what if I want a picture of the persons here and their status? And by this status, was it a citizen? I think it was. Let's see the ID number, first name. It's not double click. Last name and status. Let me run that query right now, see what happens. Run the query. On status means the number of persons here, right? But I see here that may have some people like 3 and 13 and all kind of numbers, right? So what if I want a status for person status above 10, at 10 or more? In the status area, I just go in the criteria row and I put greater than 10. And I run that query. So only personal status data point of above 10 going to show up. See, 13, 14, 12, 11. That's all that happens, yeah? That's all that happens. If I go here and say 10 or more, I'll put greater than or and equal to 10. But equal sign greater than and equal, not equal to then greater than no. Maybe I need to try that answer. Never tried that before. Let me try that and see what happens. Equal and greater than. You see. Equal to and greater than 10. Let me see if that works. Hope it works. Doesn't work. Invalid expression or syntax. Yeah. So I have to put the greater than sign first. Yes, 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 yes. All right. So you have to put the greater than sign first. Greater than equal to. How to put it that way and run the query, and that works. So even that, guys, you can see can be a problem. All right. There's something else that I did for a reason, and I want to show it to you as well. Save this query. Okay. I'm not busy with save your name as. I'm going to say voter data. Voter data. All right. Voters. Participants. Yes. Citizen. Yes. This is what I want. What I wanted. Yeah. So it's in the participants field, right? In the participants table. Create query design. And I go and double click participants and click close. I can do it with one table as well. And this query is best done with the one table. Let's say I select citizen here. Citizen, let me just drag it down. I can drag it down here if I want. I can drag it down and run the query. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 persons who are citizens. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 who aren't citizens. But I want to do something. Let's say I have a database now with hundreds of thousands of people, and I want the company to count for me itself, right? So what I can do now is double click citizen again. So I have citizen entered twice, 2 times. In the first one, it can be the second one too, but I want to use the first one. I'm going to do something, right? I'm going to right click in the grid area here, right click and select totals. A new row shows up that says total. I said group by come up in it. Let me get rid of that again. Let me get rid of it. Totals. So you see nothing, you don't see the total section there. It's not there. But I can right click there and select totals and it shows up. And I say group by good, group by But then over here, I want to say count. I want the comment to count the number of people for me who are citizens and non-citizens. All right. When I run this query now, I see citizen, yes, 5 of them. Non-citizen, as in not a citizen, so 4. Right. So let me go to design view and show you again how that query is run. Right. Let me show you, because that is very important. All right, that you pay attention to here, guys. All right, send that in the group as well. In this query, you have to, if you're going to count a particular set of persons in one field, you can enter that field twice, or you should enter it twice. But then you right click in the grid area down here and select totals. And then now in the next, as in the total section, while once a group by, the next one you select count, right? And you count the number of persons that are either citizens or non-citizens. And that's how you can run that query. All right. And then now that we're finished with that, we're gonna wrap up that one. Design, query design. Oh yeah. I didn't send that. No, I didn't send. I don't think I sent that image. Let me show the result. Show the result of this query. Show the result next. The result. So you can see for yourself. That is the result you want, and send that to in the WhatsApp group. All right, cool. So then now, let me. No, I'm not going to save that. Go back to design view. Create query design. Now here's a situation now where I want to pay persons by the amount of persons they brought to, let us say, the polls or to vote. Now, this is the more complex query, the one that, students don't have a problem with. Lengthen this. I don't have a problem with it, just that, it's a bit more detail, right? So let me say, number of persons, yeah. So we have first name, last name, number of persons. And let's say we're going to pay people, because we know so that happen enough time, yeah? We're going to pay people based upon the amount of persons they carry come vote. So we have to pay somebody a 5 bills for everybody then carry come vote. Yeah? Let us call this fraud. Yeah, really fraud. Colon. So I put a fraud here, put the word fraud here because this will appear as my field name, right? Let me take it out first and put in the raw data, right? Put colon, square bracket. I have to put the, let me do it this way. Let me do it this way. So not already. Colon, square bracket, number of underscore persons. I have to put the field name in square brackets. Once I'm going to do a calculation on an entire field, I have to put that in square brackets. And I'm going to multiply it by, let us say, 500, right? That's all I'm going to do. And then Control C, copy this, and I'm going to paste it right in the first row as I have it here. So, all right, fine. And then Control V, paste that in. Make sure somebody do that right. And then run this query. See, that is what I get. So this person now had 5 persons came and get 2,500. So in the second person, so you can see it multiply by 500. That's the result of that query. That is how that query is done. All right. Let me do, let me do this first. Let me show you the query this way. So you come to put the automatic expression stuff there already. See it up here, so that's what they put there, right? But I would have preferred to put the word fraud or put something there that suggests what the field is about, right? In this case, we are defraud the people in them election. So let's put it this way. So run it this way. We're going to put that in the chat as well, in the WhatsApp group. And show the results as well. So you can see for yourself that the query does work. That is the most complex query CXC will give you to do in terms of type of query. There are some instances though where you might need to actually do something else. Let us say that we're going to run one more like this, yeah? Let us say that we're going to do a query, another query now. We're going to do something with transportation. What we're going to know? Voter data, voters, participants, message queries, transport, that, number of persons. Let me see now. Yeah. Let's say for some reason, we're going to find the average of these two. Transport, number of persons. Let us say that these are test scores or something. I have to find the average. Let me work that out, show you. All right. Go back here. I'm going to close all of this. I type it out in Word so we can see it clearly, right? I need to make sure the field names again. Transport, number of persons. Why this? Good. All right. So here's how the square would work, right? Let's say I say they call this AVG for average. Colon. And I put here number underscore of underscore persons, close square brackets, plus square bracket again, transport, and let me make sure, transport number of person, cool. But seeing that I'm averaging it, I have to also divide by 2. But I must also tell the computer that, listen, add these 2 fields first. So I put them in, oops, don't do that to my computer. Right, and I put them in curved brackets here. So this is now wherein I'm putting in the curved bracket saying, add these 2 fields first. Remember, the square brackets are only there as a kind of encasing of this the cell address, sorry, the field names for the various fields. So number of persons as a field, that has to be in square brackets. Transport as a field, that has to be in square brackets, right? So both field names have to be in square brackets. And then now, to show that I want to add them before I divide by 2, I put them now in curved brackets and then say divide by 2. So I can just copy this, Control C, and put it over here. I'm going to design, create, curve design. Let me just add all 3 of these again. Add, close. Let's see, first name, last name, transport, number of persons, and then the spaces right in here. So paste that in and then I run the query. And then this now should be the average. This should be the average. All right. Right over here should be the average. Notice it just like I put the average in front of the colon, meaning that, listen, this is the field name data that I want to use. Right. So it shows up the result likewise. Let me screenshot this and send it in your WhatsApp group as well. So those are the basic queries CXC will want you to know how to use for purposes of your SBA. You ought to get to know those and get comfortable with them. Oh yeah, there's one other type I forgot to show you. Simple still, simpler than this one. The last one that we're going to use is one called compound query, well as and, using and as well as or. All right, so let us get into this, right? No, I'm going to say the correct either. All right, so I'm going to use for this one. Which one should I use? Yeah, we can use one table. Save myself some trouble. No, don't want to save anything. Create query design. And I'm going to use one table, participants, and close. Yeah. Let's say I want to say number of persons and age. And age. And this is one. Sorry, get rid of this. Remove table. Show table. All right. Voters. That's the table I want to use. Voters, yeah. Close. This table I want to use. So now let me get to work with this one. I want to say ID number, first name, last name, and the age of some people. Run this query. All right. What if I want to say the age of persons who are just teenagers? You answer that right? Or let's say less than 30. Let me not look at that. Because just two teenagers are there, 18 and 19. But less than 30. What I can do here in the criteria row, I can put less than or equal to 29 and greater than or equal to 20. Can run it that way as well, right? So this is what I put here. Let me screenshot this. Oops. Let me screenshot this and send it to you guys so you have an idea of what I'm doing. This is like the first example of our compound query on this. Right? So if you notice here, this is what I entered. Less than or equal to 29, right? And greater than or equal to 20. So in other words, person between 20 and 29. That's the age group. Person in their 20s. All right, and let's run this query now. Only persons in their 20s show up. That's one way you can run that query, right? So only persons in the age between the age of 20 to 29 will show up. But there are no 20-year-olds, it seems. All right, so we get rid of that. There's another way you can do this query as well. We want to see, can put in district, town, parish. We'll run this and see if we can do this, right? All right. Let's run this. We want to run a query to see persons who are teenagers. So in other words, you say less than 20. Run that. Right? So persons who are teenagers. Or persons who are in the parish of St. Anne. So you go in the criteria row now and put in St. Anne. Right? And you run the query. So anybody who shows up must be either in St. Anne or they are teenagers. So if they come from somewhere, like St. Mary, St. Elizabeth, they are teenagers. But you ask for one or the other. If you ask a persons who are both, now you get into murky waters now, right? Let us say you want persons now who, based upon this now, we say, okay, person born in St. Mary. It's a St. Mary. All right, run the query. You have two St. Mary people. One of them happen to be a teenager as well. The other person who is a teenager is from St. Elizabeth. But if you want persons now who are just in, just in a teenager and in St. Mary, send this as well. If you want to see persons who are teenagers as well as who born in St. Mary, you enter it into the same row. You don't use the R row here. You enter in the same row, right? Right? I'll run that query. And I get only one person, Morris Miller, 19 Cascade Tower Isle, St. Mary. So that's an example of an AND query. All right, so you have two types of query. You have AND queries and you have OR queries. So AND is where you'd enter everybody in the same criteria row right here. It was an OR query, you enter some in the criteria row, and the other set of data you enter in the OR row. It's fairly simple, people. It just takes some practice. Queries are easy. It just takes some practice. All right. But you can follow the videos. There are many of them on YouTube. Other stuff like similar to this, like in the YouTube videos, which are much shorter than trying to conduct a class like this. But it works, guys. It's simple. Just follow the sequence of steps and it will work for you, because I want to know that you all are finished. Matter of fact, today is Monday the 26th. Yes. And the SBA is due Friday. The SBA final draft of the SBA is due Friday. All right, guys. So please work on that. Don't worry about the reports. Reports are easy. I can send you a video. We have many videos online about the reports. It's simply a standard procedure, not difficult, and you can just get that done. I don't want this burn any more time. 1 second. Oi. Yeah. I don't want to actually burn any more time. I've been at this now for almost 2 hours, and I don't want to burn any more of your time. But reports too is easy. It's easier than all of these. All right. I'll just send you a video, also to do a report, and we call it a day. And this is your, let's call it, crash course about database. All right. Are there any questions, anybody? Assuming you were paying attention, that is.
No, sir. But it
No,
kind
sir.
of get lost when it come to the part which part age and parish, sir.
Age and parish. Okay,
Yes,
all right,
sir.
cool. No problem. We can do that over, no problem. Any other question?
Sir, where are you going to post the YouTube video? On WhatsApp or on YouTube?
YouTube. I'm posting on the same channel, but I'll send you the link when it's done.
Okay,
I'll
sir.
send you the
Thank
video
you.
link in the WhatsApp group. Yeah? Okay, as I said, guys, database is easy. It's just detailed. I have to spend the time and go through the option, because you really can't use undo when you're doing database. You know, it does not work. You don't have much of that stuff. The undoing thing. All right. So what I was saying earlier about the age thing is that you can do it. Is an example of an OR query I was using. Let's say, for example, you're running a query and you see here you have the age of some individuals. All right. This is the age. I'm just using random examples, guys. This is the age of the individuals right here, over this side, and the parish where they live. What if you want all the persons who are, let's say, below 30 years old? So that should be difficult, right? So if you run a query and you say one person below 30, or 30 and below, you say less than or equal to 30. When you run that query now, only persons whose age are 30 or less go and show up. But what if you want the persons who are less than or equal to 30, as well as persons who, let's say, for example, live in Clarendon? Let's use Clarendon. You just want those two groups of persons, less than or equal to 30, or they live in Clarendon. So because it's or, you go in the or row down here, the one right below criteria, and you type in Clarendon. And you run that query. Now when you run that query, you realize that some Clarendon people go and show up. Clarendon. Because you said you wanted persons who are less than or equal to 30 in terms of age, or they were born in Clarendon. So now you have to select both sets of options from the field. Notice, I can't say, just making this clear to you guys, I can't say Clarendon under first name, because there's nobody named Clarendon. And if I'm saying Clarendon as a parish, it must be under the parish field here that I'm looking for people who were selected for Clarendon. And this again is where data type becomes important, because if you're searching for numbers and saying less than or greater than or equal to R to add and so forth, and you're not working with numbers, you send it to short text or long text, that's a whole headache for your database. So that's why your data types are important. All right, it's very important you pay attention to these rules. It's difficult to teach it just in like a 2 hour or 1 hour session or 1 day session. No. Right? But the videos are something you can go back and look at and go over as many times as you want to. All right? That's up to you, right? So this is one example of an OR query. Persons who are less than or equal to 30 years old, so 30 or less, or they live in Clarendon. That's one way you can run the query. And that's it. It's just up to you and the solution that you perceive in your mind. You can do it that way. But there's also another way for the OR query as well. You can do this. Let me see if this will work. It just came to my mind. Let me see if it will work. Persons who are less than 30, or greater than 50. Let me see what comes up with that, right? Or, so I put the word or there, right? And run the query. Doesn't work. Hold on. Yeah, it works, yeah. Less than 30, yeah. Less than 30 or greater than 50. It did work. And we can say here, you know, there's something me think of it and it keeps slipping me. Wait again. Yes. There is a situation that CXC asks you guys about. Yeah. My brain set in relaxation mode now, so looking forward to just relaxing the rest of the day. Where's it again? Participants, yes. And voters, yes. All right, so that's the two tables I want to use. We're going to do one more query like that. Create query in design view. So it is voters and the participants. And close. So ID number and names of persons as the date of entry, right? So now run this query now. Here's what happened. This is the result they get. Persons who are from the 7th of February, because the date is month, day, year, right? So from the 7th of February to the 17th or somewhere there. What if you want to get just the persons who were from the, and someone here is the 31st of January as well. This person here, Carol Davis, the 31st of January. What if you want to get the persons, just the persons who were on Valentine's Day, right? Now you have to go here, and in the DO area, you put 2/14/2024. And when you run that query, you should get just one person. Who this again? Ludlow Pinedo, the 14th of February. What if you wanted the persons who were from the 14th of February, or just in from the 1st of February to the 14th of February? Here's how you do that, right? You put, let me put it here so we can see it clearly. All right, so you put greater than or equal to the 1st of the, no, the 2nd of the 1st dash 2024. Greater than or equal to that, and less than or equal to of the 14th, right? The 2nd February 14th, so that's 2024. 2024. Sure. Top number something. 2024. So this is what I'd enter in the criteria rule. So guys, running your queries and our queries is really up to you and your creativity. However you perceive it, the computer will be tolerant to accept certain amount of data points. However, if you really go outside the boundaries of what's allowed, then you might have problems. All right? Let me run this query and see what happens. So now run this query, only process from the 1st of February. Let me sort this in ascending order. Sort in ascending order. By date. Ascending order by date. So from the 1st of February, right up to the 14th of February. You just have to pay attention to the rules. That is what you have to pay attention to the rules. If you don't pay attention to the rules, guys, it won't work for you. It just won't work. All right? So that's basically it. Any further questions, anybody? No? All right, you guys are mighty quiet. All right, guys, take care. Wish you all the best. Hope you can get some rest today. Get some rest. Work on the SBA because we were informed that all SBAs were going in by the middle of February, the middle of March. Yep. So we'll have to stick to it. The timeline we gave. So you guys have a lot of work to do during this week. All right. All right. Take care. Tomorrow is day 5, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So some of you I will see on Wednesday, I believe, day 6. Yeah. Oh, guys, and yeah, you have not. Let me stop the recording.